Hello, everybody. Hi, Lori. Hey, Fran. Hey, friends. I gotta give a shout out to the St. Mark's Church, the bell, right on cue at 5 o'clock. The second my phone turned to 5 o'clock, the bell started ringing. We're in Noddle, Niagara-on-the-Lake, and it's a beautiful sunny day, as you can see. No, I'm lying to you. It's drizzling. It's raining. It's a chilly, cold day, and it's raining, but we're in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and we're going to go take a tour around. This is a new sign. This is brand new. I've never seen this before. Oh, that's a lie. I've seen a picture of it, and I know it was over there, the edge of the park, more at the corner of King and Queen before. But people got mad. The locals got mad. They said, we can't have that. We can't have cool things like that in Niagara-on-the-Lake. We're too classy for that. Hide it in the park. So here it is now. Niagara-on-the-Lake, Canada's prettiest town. My name is David. Thank you for joining me on a tour, walking tour of Niagara. We're here at Simcoe Park, named after John Graves Simcoe, who was the first Lieutenant Governor of Canada. That was the head honcho back then. He was the man in charge. This is Canada's first capital, Niagara-on-the-Lake. So much history here in this town. They call it Canada's prettiest town. They call it Canada's most haunted town. A lot of ghost stories in this town here. I do the ghost walks for the company here for the last 14 years, along with a bunch of other great guides. As I say, it was the first capital of Canada back when it was called Newark back then. It wasn't called Niagara-on-the-Lake. And you can see I got an umbrella here. I got an umbrella with my Montreal Canadians. And this here, Simcoe Park, there's actually a statue of Simcoe over there. We'll take you back. We'll go to that on the way. We're going to do a loop around. So what we're going to do today, for the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to take you through a stroll of Niagara-on-the-Lake. Now, I've done this tour in the past, both on Hego and with these walking tour Niagara tours. But it's always been in the daytime. This is the first time I'm going to do a nighttime tour. The sun has just gone down. It's about to get dark. And the reason being, it's Christmas time. So we're going to see a lot of it. There's a lot of cool lights. There's also that cool building over there. There's the old Niagara-on-the-Lake bandshell, which sadly does not get much use these days. I wish they would utilize it more. I got to MC an event there many moons ago, the Peace in the Park Festival, maybe 15, 16 years ago. That was a lot of fun. But what I'm going to do, we'll walk through Simcoe Park. I'm going to come across here to St. Mark's Church, which is the oldest church in Niagara, one of the oldest in Ontario. Then we're going to take a walk down to the famous Niagara-on-the-Lake gazebo. See across Lake Ontario, see the Fort Niagara. Then we'll see some Christmas lights, and I'm going to take you back up the street, past some historic sites too, the Masonic Lodge. And then we're going to walk down Queen Street, take some of the sites, the old courthouse, the apothecary, the soon-to-be demolished Royal George Theatre. A lot of great history to explore. So first things first, our first landmark is this here, the St. Mark's Church. We've got a plaque over here. You know me, I do love myself a good plaque. Let's come over, check. See if we can read. I know the lighting is not the greatest, but I'll read it for you. St. Mark's Church, one of the earliest Anglican churches in the province. St. Mark's was begun in 1804, served as a congregation 12 years earlier. Its first, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's a very old church, basically. And it was cool. During the War of 1812, if you're aware, the War of 1812, this was a pivotal point of the war here in Niagara. Well, if things didn't go down the way they did, we could all be American right now instead of Canadian. But the town was called Newark. Newark was the capital of Upper Canada, as it was known back then. The Americans invaded during the war. They actually captured the town. The Battle of Fort George took place. The Americans were victorious. And then while the Americans had the town, they actually used this church as a hospital for the wounded soldiers. So if you can go see it, let's actually take a walk back here. This is one of the oldest graveyards in Ontario. It's super creepy at night, guys. I'm glad you're with me. It's super creepy at night. It's not so bad now when the sun's just going down. When it's pitch black, really dark. Oh boy, guys. Oh boy, the door is open. The door is open to the church, guys. I didn't think it would be. Okay, we're going to have to be very respectful. I'm going to be quiet, but I'm going to give you a peek inside the church because this is... I didn't think it would be open. Let's go explore. There we go. This is a treat. Look at this beautiful building. I'm going to put my umbrella down here. Should probably remove my hat, eh? Respectful. Okay, there were people in there having some kind of a meeting. I don't want to rudely interrupt you. It's not usually open right now. But at least you got to see a peek inside. Yeah, look at this spooky, spooky graveyard back here. Some of the graves, as I said, it was used as a hospital during the war. Let's get close to me. It was used as a hospital during the war. So some of these headstones, they're so old. Look at this one, they've been patched back together. Some of them are so worn away that with time, you can't even make out the names or the numbers, but you might make out kind of like markings or etchings on the side. It is where they used to do makeshift amputations. They used to hold the soldiers up against a stone and then amputate their limbs. Crazy stuff. Well, I'm glad we got to see a little part. Here is the Addison Library, Addison Hall. There's some very, very, very old books. The old Reverend Addison has an old personal collection, a lot of books shipped over from England from the 1600s, 1700s. I would love to go visit, check out some of those books. Especially these days, a lot of misinformation with the internet. You don't know what to believe. The old books, you can't fake those. You learn a great deal from the old ways. It really is a beautiful part of town. So this is, if you do come to Niagara-on-the-Lake, this is the street you want to park on. This is Byron Street in Predo, Byron. Because everywhere else you're going to pay for parking. It's free on this street. Although during the month of December, it's always free parking during December, so it's good right now. But during the summer months when it's crazy busy, anywhere along the street, it's free. But if you go one block further down, one block further up, and all around town, you gotta pay. So a lot of movies get filmed here in town too. One of the most famous ones was The Dead Zone, the Stephen King novel turned into a movie, which is fitting as being this Canada's most haunted town. And this building is the Dead Zone house. So this is the house that, look how creepy, look how spooky that. Get my umbrella out of the way. I'm just gonna do a quick flip here so you can get it. Here we go. How spooky does that look? So this is the house from the Dead Zone that Christopher Walken lived in. So interior scenes and exterior scenes were filmed here. If you haven't checked out the movie, I highly recommend it. It's a great flick. We're gonna go check out some other scenes from there today as well. Look at that. Pretty cool, eh? Flip it back down to landscape. So we're talking about the Dead Zone. Let's head to another site of the Dead Zone. We'll go to the old famous Niagara-on-the-Lake gazebo. If you've heard of Niagara-on-the-Lake, you've probably seen photos of the famous gazebo. A lot of people think it's a lot older than it actually is. But it's actually a movie set, guys. It was built in 1981 for the Dead Zone movie. The town loved it so much, they ended up the production gifted it to the town. And it became one of the town's most famous landmarks. It was deteriorating over the years. In 2016, they dismantled the gazebo and then built a new one. I'll give me another shot of the Dead Zone house from this side. Hey, does that not look spooky? Tell me, coming down here at midnight when it's all super dark, you just see that with the creepy lights on inside. Very atmospheric. Let's wait for these cars to cross. We're going to cross ourselves. Not too far the gazebo, and on our way back, we're going to stop. There's one particular house where I want to show you. Every single year they do. They really do it well. And it's along the route of the candlelight stroll. If you're in Niagara during the winter, the first Friday of December, they do something called the candlelight stroll, where they raise money for charity. They sell mini candles, and then they have hot chocolate inside it, and then it's just a stroll around the town. There's carol singers, a cappella groups, all kinds of, drummers and marching bands, and just all kinds of cool stuff around the town. It's just a beautiful, beautiful night. I wish I could have live streamed it for you this. I had a show on Friday though, so I had a comedy show, so I wasn't able to do it this year, but hopefully next year. Even when I'm not live streaming, I usually head down there with my wife and my kids. Always a fun time. So if you can see the water we're approaching up here, there's Lake Ontario, and this is the end of the Niagara River. So if you did our tour when we were in Niagara Falls, I mentioned the Niagara River. It flows all the way down the Niagara Gorge, and this is where it empties out right into Niagara-on-the-Lake, where it turns into Lake Ontario. We're coming up to one of my favorite places in the world, the famous Niagara-on-the-Lake gazebo. My office, as I call it. It's one of my favorite stops on my ghost tour that I do. We get to come down here. We do a sword fight and talk about the headless ghost of Fort Niagara. Another cool plaque here, telling you about the first newspaper, 1793. Niagara-on-the-Lake, as I said, a lot of history. It was the first capital, had the first newspaper, the first library, the first apothecary in Upper Canada, two of the first churches. Pretty cool. Wasn't the capital for too long, because we're so close to the border, like literally, here we are, Canada. I'm going to show you where the American force is. Right across the street where they shoot them cannon fire. Because it was so close to the border, they were worried of an invasion of the capital, so they moved the capital further north to York, as it was known at the time. Now, you might know it better as Toronto. There she is. There's my gazebo. And then we get the weather vane in. Get the weather vane in. There we go. Let's do it properly. We're going to do it. Again, we will do, please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our page, and we will do this tour again in the daytime when you get better lighting for these. So this is a kind of a double whammy type of tour. You get to see the Christmas lights at night. Also, I'm scheduled to work here in town tonight in an hour as well. I host the trivia nights at one of the bars on the Queen Street. So I think if I'm going to be down here, I may as well get here a little early and bring you guys with me. The famous gazebo. Now, ordinarily, you can't see it tonight because it's a very gloomy and foggy night, but across the water, usually, you can see the city of Toronto, the CN Tower in the skyline, and across the water over there, see the lights on the very end across the water there, that's the United States, those lights you're seeing. And those lights on the end is Fort Niagara, the old American fort, where they used to hot shots, they'd call them. They'd heat the cannonballs in the fire to like 400 degrees, shoot them over across the river at the Canadian or a British buildings as it were back then. Set fire to the wooden buildings. It's the American fort. I say it's the American fort now. It's American. It's actually the French who built it back in 1726. It's its 300-year anniversary next year. Pretty exciting. I'm getting another shot of this gazebo. We'll come over here. It's pretty muddy here. It was beautiful snow all around here today. Beautiful snow. It was like holiday tour, winter wonderland. And it was supposed to snow all day. I'm like, it's going to be snowing, it's going to be great. And then the snow turned to rain. And the rain is washing away all the snow. And it's making us very wet, but that's okay. I've got my umbrella, just like Snoop Dogg, for drizzle. They have installed too. It's fairly new. We did it last year or the year before. There's a little boardwalk that goes all along the water you can travel, and it'll take you to Fort Mississauga, which is, there's three forts in there. So let's finish talking about Fort Niagara first. Fort Niagara, the American fort, built by the French originally, back in 1726. When the French moved here, there was no war going on back then. There was no fighting. So they used it mainly as like a trading post. Eventually, the British took it over. Then the Americans took it over. Then the British again, and gave it back to the Americans. Oh. I hear them, but I don't see them. You hear the geese? There they are. There they go. Geese flying by. Where's your ass? That was worth a gander, eh? Is a gander even a proper goose? Or is that just goose propaganda? I don't know. Is the rain stopped? The rain has stopped. Okay, I can put my umbrella away. Good, because it's heavy. It's heavy holding an umbrella in one hand, a gimbal in the other. So the Fort Niagara is the American fort. Down the road, a couple of kilometers as you head into Niagara-on-the-Lake, you'll find Fort George, which was the British fort, which was destroyed in the fire when the Americans left the town. So Americans took over the town of Newark, as it was called, May 27th, 1813, after the Battle of Fort George. They held the town for 6 months, and then come winter, after a couple of battles and victories by the British at the Battle of Stony Creek, and the Battle of Beaver Dams, and winter approaching, the Americans decided, hey, it'd make more sense to use Fort Niagara, a larger fort made of brick and stone, as opposed to the smaller wooden Fort George. So what they did is they departed, went back across the river to Fort Niagara, but before they did, they decided to give one final parting blow to the Brits. They took their torches and lanterns, and they set fire to every single building in the town. This whole entire town was completely destroyed by flames. On December 10th, 1830. Actually, what's the date today? Is it December? Oh, no, is it? It is. Is it the anniversary today, guys? That'd be crazy if it is. Or is it the 11th? It is the 10th. Wow. Wow. What are the odds of that? It is the anniversary of the burning of the town. December 10th, 1813. How fortuitous is that? I should have realized that before right this second. So 212 years ago. 212 years ago. This town was burned in a fire. Mainly women and children. All the men are out fighting in the war. It's women and children forced into the street with no notice. All their homes and possessions burned to the ground. When the Brits roll back into town, they find women and children frozen to death in the snowbanks. I know I'm getting a little dark now. But that seems fitting because where we are standing right now. So again, we're at the corner of King Street running this way. The main intersection of Niagara-on-the-Lake is now where King meets Queen. We'll head up there in a minute. This is where King meets Byron, which used to be the main intersection of town. But when they rebuilt the town after the fire, and they had to rebuild the whole town, they rebuilt the town and they said, hey, let's be one block further up. So they moved everything one block further up. But right here, see this old home here from the 1800s, beautiful home. But look at that. I want to show you this. Oh, it's very dark. I don't know if you can see. But this, I'll come around with the light the other way. This camera is really not. I know, if you've been on my tour, I mentioned I had a phone which worked much better, and I fell out of my pocket while filming a short film last week and was run over by a car. Now I'm using my brother's old phone, and it's not that great in light, but we're making our best. But this old stone foundation is what I'm talking about. This is from the late 1700s. It's one of the oldest standing structures in the town. This is the foundation of the old jailhouse. And right here where I'm standing is where the gallows stood. So there you go, this stone foundation here. So the gallows, all the hangings, all the public executions, placed right here on this corner, on the main intersection of town. Pretty creepy, eh? Right here next to this historic dot. I'm going to come across the street so we can get it full view and appreciate it. If you do come on the rain has come out again, I got to put my camera, my umbrella up. My phone's getting wet. there's an a cappella group, like an a cappella group that perform singing outside the Masonic Lodge during the candlelight stroll, and they are by far my favorite. They're so good. You always set up shop out here. But this building is the old Masonic Lodge. It was the second lodge built in the country, built in 1792, when the town was first formed. It was burned in the fire with the rest of the town, but this building was so important. This was the very first building that was rebuilt after the war. We actually used the rubble from the burned down homes to rebuild the foundation. And it is still the Masonic Lodge to this very day. And I've been talking about it on my tours for many times, many years. But just this year, I just finally got to go inside. Because usually you don't get to go inside a Masonic Lodge unless you are a Mason. But they did a thing called Open Doors Niagara, where you get to go inside. This is 1816 there when it was rebuilt. And they opened up the doors, you get to go inside the Masonic Lodge. It was very cool being inside the historic building. A little bit spooky too, not gonna lie. Okay, let's get towards the lights again. It's a little dim and dark. Keep the umbrella over. So we're going to cross back across the street again, because I promised you I would show you the statue of Simcoe. I'm a man of my word. Cross back, here we go. If you are joining us, let us know in the chat where you're joining from. And please let me know if you have any recommendations of guides to go follow and subscribe. Check out tours to get worth going to explore again. It's a little dark over here, so you can't really see short much on camera, but here he is. Again, that's terrible. You can't. Trust me, the statue is there. It's just too dark in there. I should have brought a flashlight with me, but there is light. There's a lot of light in the street. We're going to light it up beautifully. Get more Christmassy and a holiday feel. So it's just this week we're going to be doing these. I haven't done these tours for a while. It's been great getting back with the online streaming community. Missed you guys. But I figured for the holidays, I'll do Monday to Friday, a bunch of tours. We got a couple more left after today. Hopefully we're going to do Queenston tomorrow and check out some more history with the kilns and the caves. Although, I'll be honest with you, my wife just messaged me. My daughter has a fever of 38. She was home today with me. And if that's then, it looks like she's probably going to be home again tomorrow. So I may have to reschedule that one, unfortunately. But Friday for sure is the last one we're going to do, and it's going to be definitely going to be worth it. It's going to be the Festival of Lights again, but with the laser show and with the fireworks. We're going to finish with a bang. So hopefully you can join us for that. Friday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time. As we come to the back of the apothecary here. And so this is a great walk to do a week before the craziness of Christmas. You're right. It's crazy at Niagara-on-the-Lake, the difference between how busy it is during the summertime and how quiet it can get during the off-season. It's so pretty. Again, if you just stay dry of the drizzle. So we're at corner of King and Queen now. King and Queen, the main intersection out across the street is the Prince of Wales Hotel. It's a luxurious hotel in Niagara. It was built in 1864. It's called the Longs Hotel back then. It was called the Niagara House. Then early 1900s, there's a royal visit by the Prince of Wales, and they renamed after him. And let's go be cheeky and go check it out. Let's go inside. Now, again, I'm going to be quiet in here. I'll be incognito. I know how far we can get, but especially it's quieter here, so I'm definitely going to draw attention. I can't be distracted by many other tourists running around, but check out this beautiful building. I would love to stay. I've never stayed here, but it's nice. Now you can see starting to see the charm of the town. Obviously, it was a little gloomy, the back streets we were just coming from, but you can see it here too. Look, very quaint and proper. My gimbal is soaking, guys. I got a soaking wet gimbal. It doesn't. There's too many issues with it already. Hopefully, it doesn't get too demarged. We come up to the red carpet. You know it's fancy when you got a red carpet here. So we'll take that photo. Here we go. Let's check out the picture. Pretty swanky, eh? Pretty swanky. Oh, stay. Get my umbrella switch. Technical difficulties left, right, and center. My phone's being wonky. My gimbal's being wonky. My umbrella won't open. There we go. We got it. We got it in the end. Yes, if you want to go to Fort George, you'd head just down that way. You'd head down the street. First, you get to one of 3 theaters in town, the Jackie Maxwell Festival Theater, just the end of this road. And then a little bit further, you'll come to Fort George. And then I mentioned there were 3 forts. Fort Mississauga is the 3rd. So after Fort George was burned by the Americans when they retreated from the town, the British built a replacement fort at Fort Mississauga down further along the shoreline. And unlike Fort George and Fort Niagara, there's not really tours there or guided tours or reenactments or anything like that. It's just kind of left hidden and forgotten about. I lived in town 3 years before I even knew it existed. It was a very cool place to check out. I know it gets very windy out there and the signal's not super great, so I'm not going to head out there tonight. And especially because with the darkness, I know it's not going to look so great. But in another time during the daytime, we are going to go explore that. Right now, we're coming up to, if you can see there, the cenotaph. Large focal point for the town. It's actually coming to the middle of the road. Get a proper picture of this. My umbrella's going to flip upside down in a minute, guys. Oh my gosh, it's windy. And then my favorite building in town, the Niagara-on-the-Lake Courthouse. Look at this, guys. Hey, look at that. Oh, upside down, my umbrella is upside down. No, flip back. There we go. We flipped it back. My word, it's windy. Okay, if you want to take a postcard there. Oh, she's gone upside down again. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Okay. This is where, oh, look at the lights doing there. The rain is dropping on it with an umbrella. Let's just see November 11th for the Remembrance Day. You always have the Veterans Remembrance Day ceremony here. It's always very moving. Let's go check out the courthouse. That's one of my favorite buildings. That's the cool thing too. I actually just last year I got to MC my friend's wedding in this courthouse. Just such a thrill. Got to go explore a lot of the building. It was 1848 it was built. William Thomas was the architect. It was built because back then Niagara-on-the-Lake was the county center, the county judicial center for the whole Niagara region. So they built this impressive courthouse. The Welland Canal had just opened. St. Catharines is an up-and-coming city. And eventually, they moved the county seat to St. Catharines. So this was no longer a courthouse anymore. It was only a courthouse from 1848 until 1862. Not for very long at all. So it became a number of different things. It became a suspender factory, believe it or not. Is it actually open? Can we go inside? No, it's not. It's not open. Can you peek through the gap there? Can I get you in there? How close can I get you? No, we can't really see it. It became a suspender factory. It became a police station at one point, a town hall. It was a library for many, many years. These days, it is the Chamber of Commerce downstairs, offices for Parks Canada, and it's the Courthouse Theatre and event space. But we don't really use it for many plays these days. It's usually just used for rehearsal, although next year they will be, because as I mentioned earlier, they're knocking down the Royal George, the other theatre. So they're going to be using this one. I'm just going to come back across the street to properly admire this building, because how often do you get to see architecture look at this? It's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to take a stroll down this alley by it. It's a cool postcard. Head to the old Angel Inn. You have a letter for Santa? Deposit your letters for Santa right there. Cool, eh? So when we do the ghost tours, oh, can you hear the wind? It's during this alleyway that we walk down. Oh my, umbrella's done it again. Upside down. Oh boy. It's during this alley here. It's where people first say they first start to feel, experience uneasiness. Apparently there's a lot of negative energy emanating from these walls. Obviously, this is where they used to sentence the prisoners to hang. They didn't hang them here. That was at the gallows where I showed you earlier. That window here was kicked in by Christopher Walken in the movie The Dead Zone. One of the final scenes of the movie takes place in here. Last summer, too, I came here, and if you can see this, there's a little drainage pipe down here. I stood here, I was standing here telling ghost stories, and a skunk walked out of the drainage pipe, through my cape and under my legs, and it was the most, it was, oh, forget ghosts, it's the scariest thing I've encountered on my tour. Oh my gosh, boy did I jump. That's the courthouse here, and let's head over the famous Niagara-on-the-Lake, the old Angel Inn. My favorite business in town. Built in 1786. It was called the Harmonious Coach House back then. It was sadly burned in the fire. And it was rebuilt in the same spot and eventually renamed after the owner's wife, Angel. So you come into town, you want to experience some great fish and chips, some shepherd's pie. The Angel Inn is the place to come experience. Supposedly haunted by Captain Swayze, who haunts the washrooms. A lot of the hotels and B&Bs in town, they don't really advertise their ghost stories because they want to scare away the business, but the Angel are proud of their resident ghost, Captain Colin Swayze. You can read all about him on the plaque on the wall before you even step inside. There's a little story about him. He was a captain with the British stationed at the fort. And then his girlfriend, Uretta, was the innkeeper's daughter. And they'd agreed if anything happened during the war, they would rendezvous here at the inn. When the Americans invaded, the captain frantically made his way back to the inn, but there was no trace of Uretta. And to make matters worse, he'd been seen by 3 American soldiers who followed him inside the building. So the captain had to find somewhere to hide, ran downstairs to the old wine cellar, found an old barrel, lifted the lid, got inside, and hoped for the best. The soldiers came in, searched for him upstairs, downstairs, in the cellar. They couldn't find him. They're not too worried. They figured maybe he climbed out a window and fled. Didn't matter to them. There was time to celebrate. They'd just beaten the British and captured the capital. Come downstairs to the bar, have themselves a celebratory beverage. After a while, one of them gets an idea. Hey, how about we see what else they have to enjoy down in the old wine cellar? Comes down, sees what looks like a nice, tasty barrel of rum in the corner. So he goes over, he turns the tap. Nothing would pour from the tap. So he gives the barrel a shake. He realizes there's no rum in there at all. Now, rather than open up the lid, take out the captain, and hand him over to his superiors, no. Instead, he gets the other 2 soldiers, they gather around the barrel, and proceed to stab it with their bayonets over and over and over. until blood started to pour from the tap. And that was the end of the good captain. We left him inside to rot. So eventually they couldn't stand the stench any longer. They came downstairs, dug a hole in the dirt foundation, buried the captain right there, barrel and all. To this day, there are many, many, many reports of hauntings at the Angel Inn. We're going to take a quick peek inside if we can. I'm not sure if this door is open, but we're going to check and find out. It is. We'll walk through the Angel Inn. I don't like to disturb businesses too much. We're in there. They're busy. They're at work. I would come and rudely put a camera in their face. Hey, by the way, I'm going to broadcast you all across the world. Can't not take a quick peek inside for you. There's a few other shops down here. We're going to take a peek inside as well. So we're not going to be here too much. Maybe another 5 minutes or so. You all got busy lives. I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with me today. Explore the town. I'm sorry it's not a little brighter and cheerier, but it's still a beautiful place. And I always appreciate you hanging out. Come up here down to the Royal George Theatre across the street from the statue of George Bernard Shaw, famous Irish playwright, which the Shaw Festival gets its name. I like these flowers. This is a new edition. Drape these flowers across the gate here. Pretty. And this, my friends, is when we finish this tour. This is where I'm coming. Now I'm going to get some dinner. I didn't have time to eat before I left. We're coming here because there's some delicious stuff here. Let's go take a peek. I'll show you. I'll show you. How's it going? I'm just doing a quick live stream tour. We'll be done in 5 minutes. I'm going to come back, get something to eat. Is it okay if I just show people around quickly? Thank you. Guys, everything here is delicious. You've got to come here. These are my favorite. Walnut chocolate caramel butter tarts. Definitely coming back for a spicy sausage roll. Thank you. Guys, I wish I could convey the delicious smell inside that place as well. It was delicious. Oh, look at they're about to do the candy apples. Look at these boring rubbish apples with no candy and chocolate on them. Wait till they become delicious. Yes. Wonderful chocolate shop. She's just closing up shop too. I'm not going to bother her. I don't want to step in. I think she just finished mopping. I want to step in there with my wet, muddy feet. Come on, umbrella, open up. Why my umbrella's been so temperamental? There we go. More ghost stories here. We have the headless ghost of Queen. There we go. Okay, it's been silly. It's been a silly use, guys. But across the way here, we have the Royal George Theatre. One of my favorites. It was built in 1913, historic building. And the fact that we get to see this right now, this is being demolished very soon. Very soon, this building will be no more. Just knocking it down and building a new Royal George Theatre. Even though I don't know how they're getting away with that, since it's a historic listed building, so it shouldn't be allowed to be knocked down, but I don't know. If you have enough money, you do what you want, I guess. Let's go take a peek inside. It's obviously closed now. It's dark. They had a Christmas Carol, which is running until December 21st, and then once that's over, that's the final play. White Christmas and a Christmas Carol are the two last plays that be taking place here. Roger, I'll be honest with you guys. 14 years I've been doing the ghost tours. I've seen a lot of creepy things. I've seen lights do strange things, and doors open, and weird feelings, and mediums and sensitives on my tour having experiences, people getting pushed, but I've never actually seen what I thought, oh, that was a ghost right there of somebody, a person. But 3 times during this season, we've not just myself and my tour have seen people walking by the windows inside this building while it's closed. And I don't know, it's not. Unless you're there when it happens, it's hard to convey what it's like when it happens, when you see something like that. But anyhow, this building is going to be there's a lot of people against it, but what you going to do? Hopefully, it's not only that they've been knocking down, but they're also knocking down the historic old building next door to it too. Because they're expanding it much bigger. I've heard rumblings. Originally, it was going to be they were going to do renovations, and then they're like, actually, no, we're just going to knock the whole thing down. There's rumors of old 200-plus-year-old tunnels underneath you. I don't know what the basis effect on that, but I know there's numerous rumors of tunnels around the town. Some I've seen myself. Officially, the town says there are no tunnels, but I know that's not true because I've seen it. Inside the courthouse we're at, there's a blocked up one. Down at the old Charles Inn down the street here, there's a blocked up one which leads up toward Fort Mississauga. Here we are, our usual starting spot, if you've been on our tours before. The statue of George Bernard Shaw. Famous Irish playwright, and as he always does in the wintertime, he's adorned with his Christmas hat. Georgie boy. Usually a fountain too. Obviously the fountain has been drained for the winter so it doesn't freeze. Not sure. If you come to the town Niagara-on-the-Lake, you've got to go check out a play. World-class theatre. Brings people from all over the world to see these plays. It's just a beautiful town. Gimble, don't we? There we go. Nice. Let's come on. We'll finish up in the middle of the street. I'll do so we're going to view it down the whole of Queen Street. Well, thank you for joining me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of the town. Niagara-on-the-Lake, where it's not so busy in the summer with the tourists everywhere. Please like our video and give it a subscribe if you can. It really helps our channel. And I hope to see you again. I'll let everybody know I'm quite sure I'm going to have to be staying home with my daughter tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to go do our tour at 10 a.m. tomorrow at the Queenston Caves, but we'll do that another time. But Friday for sure. We will go do the lasers. I've not seen the new laser show, the fireworks, and the Festival of Lights at 7 p.m. So please check out for that. These tours are always free, but if you'd like to contribute, help out, we'll accept PayPal or e-transfers to walkingtoursniagara@gmail.com or buy me a coffee. If you want to buy me a coffee/David Green. Although I'll be honest with you, I'll probably buy a tea. I'll probably buy a tea. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon. Whatever your plans are. I wish you the best. Thanks, Fran. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here and contributing in the chat and hanging out with us. You rock for everything you do for all, not just myself, but all of the live streaming tour community. You're a legend. I would appreciate you like you don't know. And now, as the rain turns into snow, look at that, it's getting beautiful now. I'm going to get myself a nice cup of tea, get myself a sausage roll at the bakery. I wish you all a wonderful evening, everybody. Be good to each other, and I'll see you next time. Take care.